It is the agenda for the 21st century you're living in today. For a brave new world where everything that you cherished and held true will no longer exist.
Earthquake of at least a 6.5 magnitude hit central Italy on Sunday. It's believed to be one of the most violent earthquakes the country's seen in decades. The quake's epicenter was near the small town of Norcia, but it was felt hundreds of miles to the north and south.
There was panic on the streets in Italy as the country was woken up by another powerful earthquake. Young and old left their beds and ran into the streets.
Nothing like crossing a lake bed just to get to the other side of where our camper is.
en el teatro y vamos a ver cómo está el cielo, que es una barbaridad de espectacular. Yo nunca había visto esto así. Miren cómo está eso, que parece que es el fin del mundo, tío. Que si hubiera explotado ahora una bomba atómica, ¿eh? No sé si se puede... Es que es totalmente, es una barbaridad. Cosa más linda, ¿eh?
The U.S. military and Japan's self-defense forces have begun 13-day joint military exercises. Japan has sent some 25,000 personnel, 20 vessels, and as many as 260 jets. The Americans sent about 11,000 soldiers. The drills would be conducted at sites throughout mainland Japan and Okinawa, and also the northern Mariana Islands. Okinawa will stage a drill in which the U.S. is at war with a third party, and Japan offers their assistance. Many say this is so Japan can to combat ready for a similar situation.
My question is, out of all these people in the world that have nuclear weapons, who has the most nuclear weapons? I think most Americans would just assume they do. But you know that's not true. Russia has estimated 7,300 nuclear warheads. It doesn't take that much to wipe America off the map, clearly. Yeah, it would only take 5 to 10, and you would be crippled. They got 7,300, and that is more than what America has. Who has the best and the biggest missiles? Russia. Headline: Russia is building the largest intercontinental ballistic missile ever. Russia's R-28 Sarmat ICBM weighs 100 tons, has a 10,000 kilometer range, is capable of delivering 10 to 15 independently targeted nuclear warheads. That means you send one missile up and it can hit 15 cities. That's what they're capable of. This would be powerful enough to wipe out a territory the size of Texas or the nation of France entirely. This new missile is dubbed the Son of Satan. Who has the best submarines in the world? Think you're getting the picture. It's Russia. Headline: U.S. can't keep pace with Russian submarine deployments, top Navy official says. Again, this is reported this year. I know that this has been the subject of many Hollywood movies going back to the 1990s. All right, The Hunt for Red October was one. The Sum of All Fears was another one. Lots of movies that have depicted the scenario. And the thing is, when people use their creativity and their mind, actually they tap into something in the spiritual realm. And a lot of times it would seem like Hollywood is prescient, because you just need to put on your imagination and you're going to see what may be coming down. So Russia, this is years ago, this is their old submarine, but let me tell you the capability of what was known, because we don't know the present capability. Their old Typhoon submarines, their Typhoon class submarines, can cut through ice, launch missiles from the Arctic Circle that would hit the continental US. They carry 20 missiles that can deliver 10 independent nuclear warheads, which means they could target from one submarine 200 cities. And they could do it from the Arctic Circle. Don't even have to be near there. They now have developed a new submarine dubbed the Black Hole by NATO. Their new submarine are the quietest in the world and can disappear from sonars.
Hillary Clinton is firing back at FBI Director James Comey, calling his handling of her email probe deeply troubling. Clinton was at a campaign stop in Daytona Beach, Florida, when she told supporters that this FBI investigation would not distract her or bring her down. The Democratic nominee also ripped Donald Trump, accusing him of misleading the public on her email issue, but Clinton's toughest criticism was saved for FBI Director Comey.
I'm sure that some of you may have heard about a letter that the FBI director sent out yesterday. Well, if you're like me, you probably have a few questions about it. It's pretty strange to put something like that out with such little information right before an election. In fact, it's not just strange, it's unprecedented, and it is deeply troubling.
Yemen's president has rejected a UN-proposed peace plan for the country. Exiled in Saudi Arabia, Abd Rabbu Mansour Hadi was firm in his dismissal of the proposal, which would give the Shiite Houthi rebels who seized the capital in 2014 a share in the future government. The ideas presented, he said, carry the seeds of war and would be a reward for the rebels. It marks a fresh blow to UN efforts to end a conflict that, in just over a year and a half, has left 7,000 people dead, 3 million displaced, and the country divided. On Saturday alone, at least 17 civilians were reportedly killed in the province of Taz in an airstrike by the Saudi-led coalition.
South Korea's presidency is facing a scandal that might put it in danger of collapsing, and it sounds more like a political TV drama and less like real life. At the heart of the scandal is South Korean President Park Geun-hye, who reportedly relied on an old friend, Choi Soon-sil, for political counsel. That doesn't sound so bad, but Choi is the daughter of an alleged cult leader. Leaked cables from WikiLeaks show concern that he had complete control over Park's body and soul during her formative years. Park's opponents are now accusing Choi of doing the same. Choi seems to have been consulted on everything from Park's day-to-day wardrobe to editing her speeches. Speeches Choi didn't have security clearance to see. That kind of influence has some critics comparing Choi to Rasputin. much like they did her father. All across South Korea, people are demanding Park step down, citing worries over the amount of control the Choi family had over the presidency. Park gave a short public apology to the nation and forced 10 of her senior aides to resign. But since the scandal broke, her approval rating has dropped to an all-time low of 14%.
Thousands of protesters have taken to the streets in central Seoul. They denounced the South Korean President Park Geun-hye over a recent influence peddling scandal. The protest was triggered by the leaking of top-secret state documents to Park's personal friend Choi Soon-sil. And Choi does not hold any public office and is also being investigated for using her ties to Park, with Park to coerce money out of major conglomerates. Protesters are calling for Park to step down.
Hundreds of anti-Popular Party demonstrators have protested outside the Spanish Congress against the acting Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy's bid to form a new minority government. Rajoy, the leader of the Conservative Popular Party, won a second term as Prime Minister with a vote of 170 to 111. There were 68 abstentions. It ends 10 months of political uncertainty after 2 elections left no party being able to form a government.
People pouring into Colombia for medicine and food. Since Venezuela reopened its border, this has been the scene day in and day out. But with the crisis getting worse, more Venezuelans are deciding to take a chance in the neighboring country. Edward Corrales is one of them. He's now a mechanic in Cúcuta, but he used to have a successful business in his hometown, Valencia. A franchise of Italian socks he sold nationwide.
I ran out of tires for the truck, spare parts. I had to wait 3 months for spare parts. Prices of supplies to make the socks went up, then they simply became unavailable until I had to give up.
His wife Paula has Colombian citizenship, which means they can work here, so they decided it was time to go.
It had become a daily odyssey. You'd never know what you'd eat, if anything. One day maybe you found flour, another day maybe meat or some chicken. This after spending 7 hours in a line. You forget about milk for the baby, so you either die of hunger with your kids or leave.
With Colombia stifled by its internal conflict, for years the flow of people was in one direction. Millions of Colombians sought refuge and economic opportunities in Venezuela. Now, though, that tide is turning.